Hey everyone, TJ and Mac here, back together again. And some days ago, as I was watching the Democrats fumble and rant and everything else on television, I couldn't help but think how much they were in denial. When I looked up the word denial, one of the definitions given for denial was failure to acknowledge an unacceptable truth or emotion or to admit it into consciousness, and it's used as a defensive mechanism. And I thought, that kind of applies to them, especially given their current state of mind with this whole impeachment pursuit of theirs. And they're in denial as to the fact that they lost the 2016 presidential election. And you watch what the Democrats in the House did, and then you compare it to how the Senate's conducting their affairs, and it's the difference is night and day. It's my belief it's done out of elitism, arrogance, and condescension, and I couldn't help but I'd just say Exhibit A, Al Green from the House of Representatives, 9th District of Texas. He's been known to say we need to impeach President Trump or he will get reelected. And he's also indicated a willingness to impeach President Trump multiple times if needed. And I'll stop here. And any comments so far?
AOC has got a video out. It's being run as a Republican commercial, I do believe, saying essentially the same thing. If we don't get him out, we're going to have an event with disastrous or catastrophic consequences. And I don't know if they're in denial or if they're or they're just liars. It's hard to tell. It just doesn't. There's no reason to it for sure.
Well, no doubt some of them are out and out liars, but I think some are content to be in denial because I don't think they want to admit the truth. In any event, as I was researching the whole state of denial, I came across an article written by an Alan Johnson, and I don't know this guy. And in what I've looked up and found on this Alan Johnson guy is he appears to be a business writer, and in one of his business articles, he came up with 7 signs that you're in denial. And as I was reading it, I was like, holy cow, this is the Democrats right here. And so I took what was intended to be a business article and I've put a political perspective to it. So, I'm going to list them. Number 1, I am above failure. Everything I touch turns to gold. And I think of, if you're above failure, they just knew Hillary was going to win.
Yeah.
There was no way Hillary was going to lose. You know what? There's no way Hillary was going to fail in the 2016 election. And I thought, well, okay, all she thought she had to do was go through the motions, and the election was hers.
Well, it was her term.
All right.
But she really believes that, I think.
Okay.
And still believes it.
And by the way, some of these do overlap. So, but I think it's kind of one perspective or another here. Number 2, it's impossible to take me by surprise. In other words, everything is planned. And this kind of goes back to I am above failure, but they thought they were going to win. When you think of the way the media conducted themselves the early evening of election night, it was like they were already in a celebratory type of mood because they were that certain Hillary was going to win. And when you think about it, did she not fix the Democrat primary?
Yes.
So
ensuring her victory. She thought
ensuring her nomination and then ensuring her victory, and part of that also was the beginnings of the whole Steele dossier nonsense also. Okay. Anything else so far?
There's a thin line between denial and delusion, and I'm not sure which side of that line they're on. I think the reason she lost was because a lot of people kept to themselves their true feelings about how they were going to vote. They either didn't get polled at all, and I haven't been polled since the Reagan era. They didn't do that. They just think that their club is so inclusive. How could they lose? And maybe that is denial or delusion. I'm not sure which it is.
All right, number 3. If you want something done right, do it yourself. And in that regard, the Democrats do not trust the average Joe to do it their way. I mean, Obamacare, it had to be done their way. I mean, you think in terms of Obamacare, that was how health care was supposed to be done. And, so they had to do it their own way in that regard.
Well, Nadler said we can't trust an election to remove Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Which is scary. Can't trust elections? I mean, what does that mean?
Number 4, I am never at fault, which means everyone else is wrong. Okay?
This is one I can relate to, actually, but
you do everything right, but the average Joe ruins it for you because
Right.
you're never at fault.
well, you've heard her litany of excuses. I mean, she's blamed Obama, she blamed Comey, she blamed the basket of deplorables. I mean, because how dare we not vote for her because she's so deserving. And I think that's what it comes down to with her. She feels she deserves to be president.
Number 5, everything has an excuse. Managed to find excuses for everything. 2016 election was rigged. It was stolen. Again, the average Joe screwed it up for her. I mean, clearly it wasn't her fault. People just they couldn't do it right, really.
Well, they blame the uneducated, which
Exactly.
which is a term I take issue with because you're either completely educated or you're uneducated. Meaning you have no education.
And keep in mind, a lot of these are from the position of elitism, arrogance, condescension. They are so endowed with the knowledge that the common Joe must be ruled.
Yes.
Let's see. Number 6. Everyone else is wrong. Well, it's because you're always so right. Everyone else is so wrong. Those who don't agree with you are clueless, like Flyover Country. Flyover Country is clueless how they must be
Well,
ruled.
Bill Maher says we would kill to be them. They are so great, we would do anything to be them.
Why can't we understand their brilliance? Because we just they're so brilliant, and why can't we get it? They're perfect, therefore we must be wrong. And and so what we're left with is really.
Well, it's because of what did Obama say? We cling
Oh, yeah.
to our God, our guns, and I forget what the third one was. But we cling to those.
I think you said Bible too, wasn't it?
I don't think so, but it doesn't matter. I mean, don't they cling to things?
Yeah, they sure do.
They cling to their secularism.
Let's see. Number 7, it's all one big conspiracy. Russia, Ukraine, Russia, collusion, quid pro quo, bribery. You know what? Could the Democrats just please make up their mind as to what the excuse is? I mean,
Well, let's go back to the Monica Lewinsky scandal. What was the first thing out of Hillary Clinton's mouth? It's a vast right-wing conspiracy. Until the president, left his presidential DNA all over her dress. I guess the right wing did that as well.
yeah, and I'm inclined to bring up how Nancy Pelosi kind of misspoke in just a recent interview where someone was asking her about the impeachment of Donald Trump and how they were rushing it. And she goes, "Oh no, we've been working on this for 2 years," which is like saying that it wasn't about the Ukrainian phone call.
No.
I mean, you know what? They can't make up their mind what the conspiracy is. Any final thoughts?
No. Like I said, there's a thin line between delusion and denial.
Did you like my 7?
Yeah. I thought that was good.
And I'd like to give one final example of someone in denial. Juan Williams of the 5 at 5. Just watching him and to listen to Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfield and even just the other day, doggone her if I didn't forget her name, the lady with the long straight brown hair who likes to use the word balderdash. Oh, Juan, that's balderdash. But in any event, I gotta wonder if he's just that content to be in denial.
Or it's an act.
Well, hey, that could be
He's
too.
filling his role on the show as the.
But and I look at these 7, and he definitely thinks it's a conspiracy of the right. He definitely thinks other people are wrong. He's always got an excuse. The Democrats aren't at fault. And you know what? And he clearly thinks the Democrats are above failure. So, and when I think of Juan Williams, I right off the bat see at least 5 of these applying to him. Okay, so like I said, even though this was intended to be a business article, I just felt it's so applied to the Democrat state of mind, and so here you have the 7 signs the Democrats are in fantasy land. Any final thoughts before we close?
I'd close it up.
All right, that's it. That's a wrap. TJ and Max signing off. Be safe. Watch your 6. And don't tread on me.